And testifying to the Senate Judiciary Committee, Attorney General Pam Bondi faced a barrage of questions on President Trump's deployment of the National Guard. Illinois Senator Dick Durbin tried to put Bondi in the hot seat, but she flipped the script.
Your city has a murder rate 5 times higher than New York's. 571 homicides last year. If you were serious about protecting your people, you would be asking this administration for help. The National Guard is on the way right now as we speak. Oh, by the way, so is Director Patel and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. You're sitting here grilling me, and they're on their way to Chicago to keep your state safe.
All right, joining me now is Congressman Mark Harris, a Republican from North Carolina. Congressman, good to have you with us. Here's what I don't get. This should be a no-brainer for everybody. We should all want to have crime-free cities, and that does not seem to be the case when it comes to these Democrats.
Absolutely, Todd. Thank you so much for having me with you today. But yes, I mean, this is a perfect example of things that we are seeing across the country where these blue-run cities truly soft on crime policies that those on the left continue to put in place, they're not working. And the American people have had enough. President Trump ran on a law and order platform. He made it clear what he intended to do in trying to make our cities safe again in this country. And thank God he's stepping up. And I'm grateful for the National Guard that's willing to be there to serve, for ICE that's out there getting the job done every day. But these are law enforcement officers, and we need to be standing behind them. We need to encourage them. We need to be helping them, not doxing them. This is just, it's unbelievable what we see is taking place in certain locations.
Yeah. Governor J.B. Pritzker, by the way, Congressman, equates the Trump administration to, I know you're going to be surprised by this, the Nazi regime. Let's watch.
What we're talking about is authoritarianism. We could have talked about Pol Pot. We could have talked about authoritarians across history. I chose something I know very well. I helped to build a Holocaust museum. And what I know is in the early days of the Nazi regime, they started slowly but surely taking away people's rights. And what we're seeing now is the very same thing.
Yeah, your reaction to that, Congressman?
Well, first of all, let me just tell you, that's the kind of talk that's getting people shot. It's that kind of talk that's getting people assassinated. And we have got to tone down the rhetoric of continuing to compare people to Nazis or Hitler or all those kind of things. And that's just so uncalled for. And the reality is that when you see your lead story tonight is on the weaponization that we have seen by the prior administration, the weaponization of government agencies at the DOJ and the FBI and all of these things. It's just so hypocritical that it almost makes me laugh if it weren't so sad. And frankly, it should make us angry, and it should make us all step up and speak up and say that we're not going to tolerate it anymore.
Yeah, and Congressman, in your state, we've got to get back to Irina Zarutska, the 23-year-old murdered by that 14-time repeat offender on the transit train. Now, you are spearheading some legislation here that will target these soft on crime policies from the Democrats. Tell us about that real quick.
Yes, sir. There's two bills that we have introduced in response to this from the federal level. Let me just say I'm very grateful for our state legislature that passed Irina's law. Our Democrat governor did everything he could to avoid signing it, but gave in to the pressure on the final day, and he did sign it into law, and I am grateful for that as well. But on the federal level, there are two things that I thought were important. One, that we have accountability, and basically saying that we're going to cut off any federal grants going to cities that are supporting cashless bail or are supporting defunding the police and a reduction in the police force. The second thing that we're doing is introducing really the codification of a Trump executive order that's already in place. In fact, it's called the Cashless Bail Reporting Act, that really is going to put on notice citizens to be able to go to a website that has been put together that will identify the communities. If you want to check and see if your city or your community has fallen into this trap of cashless bail, your city's going to be listed on that. And if people get ready to take vacations, take trips, they ought to be able to check and see if the place
Right.
where they're going has got these kind of soft on crime things in their jurisdiction.
Well, Congressman, look, great pieces of legislation. Appreciate you joining us here on Newsmax, but we need to leave it there. Thank you.